All right, let's get right into it. I will be making a tier list for all the superhero themes, the main themes from the big Hollywood motion pictures, okay? So none of that Spider-Man, none of that, none of the cartoons, not the Flash TV show, not the Daredevil TV show, they get honorable mentions. Let's just get right into it. As biased as pop I will be as biased as possible. Sorry. And I'm not going to get too technical because I don't even know all the music terminology. I am going to explain to you why I am the most right, most probably, and then you can decide if you want to agree later on. All right. Let's start with got all these pictures. Let's go ahead and rank The Incredible Hulk 2008, I believe. Let's see it real quick before I drop it on the thing. Where is that at? Let me see. Where's the Incredible Hulk? There's the Incredible Hulk. Right here in the beginning. Oh yeah. Best Hulk, by the way. Don't judge me. Matter of fact, do all the judging you want. I'm absolutely right. This Hulk, let's put him in B for now. I haven't really decided on how I'm going to degrade. I really want the best of all these superhero movies right here to go in the S, and then the worst to go in D, as opposed to it being a solid S rank for all the movies across the board everywhere. In terms of music, this music was really sad. Actually, it was horrifying, but it was so sad because of the triplets and it was like chimes in the back over and over and over. Not really reminiscent of a hero, but it's predicated on the Hulk, so I can't really blame the movie, can't really blame the soundtrack. I do want the best S-rated winner of all these in the category to be number one, hero-like music. I wanted to sound heroic. And even though some of the heroes don't lend themselves to that theme, sorry, just out of luck. It's not really because the music's bad. It's because it's this specific category. Because I love the Hulk. And for those reasons I've listed, let's just leave him in B. I mean, he was a monster. I really like the way that this movie was filmed in order to make him seem more like a scary figure. Not really so much a crazy smashing green man. But, it talked more about like David Banner and his traumatic experiences, all that necessary stuff. And in order to make the character a little bit more fleshed out, that's fine with me. Let's go to Doctor Strange is getting a hard D, maybe C. Let's check it out. Here he is right here. By the way, that sounds really similar to Narnia, if you haven't heard it. Narnia, the soundtrack, it's just, all right, that's another thing. Anyway, to me, it's really hard to blend hero and magic. Michael, he did his best. I'm pretty sure that's who made the music film score. But, it's either got to be one lane or the other. If you can blend it, I'm sure it's doable. But it just wasn't blended as well to me, especially when it comes to the hero aspect. Actually, let me take that back. When it comes to the magic aspect, it sounds like general hero music, like just generic hero music. The chord progression changes a little bit. It's just not as prominent for me. I mean, I can't even really lock on to this as hey, that's Doctor Strange. It's all right. Let's jump to Batman's Michael Keaton. I'm going to drop this in A, maybe B. We'll see. Let me go ahead and hear real quick. Let's see. Where are you at? Yeah, I love Michael Keaton's Batman, especially because it still pulls on the hero aspect of Batman. Every other Batman musical piece, every other Batman song is so dark and evil sounding. Gotta blame Snyder. That's a whole nother thing. I like it, from the old days. The golden age to me, maybe not the actual golden age. That's just what it sounds like to me. It really still starts off dark, and it really does, make you think of I don't know, anti-hero, vigilante. But then it's like a little middle section, comes right back around. I love it. Yep, you can stay in A for now. Let's try the Green Lantern movie was trash, but the soundtrack wasn't that bad. I'm gonna drop you in C. I think I'm just gonna fill out all the categories and then we'll place them around. The Green Lantern and theme. Here it is, right here. It was solid. It was solid. Just a little clip. I really like how it sounds like military, like a military march. That was the only iconic part to me though. Like the rest of the whole theme, you know, I know that's only like a short piece, but the rest of everything was just like, man. All right. Let's do Wonder Woman. Oh my gosh. Above Doctor Strange. I think I'll put it above Green Lantern too, but not very high. I might even change that because I feel like they really could have done better. I feel like they really just dropped the ball with Wonder Woman. I mean, she's got that little iconic. Actually, let's hear it real quick. Whoopsie daisy. Where are you, Wonder Woman? Here we are. You're gonna know it as soon as you hear it. And that's iconic. That's Wonder Woman. You can hear it and you can tell it's like, sounds like a bunch of Amazons flipping and dipping. But that's like the whole thing. Just like I said, like Green Lantern, like that's the crux of it. It doesn't build up to anything. It doesn't, you know, I don't even know the word. There's no, what's the word? Not a rising action in a plot storyline. There's exposition, rising action, climax. What's the word for falling action? There's none of that. No, none of that. Okay, I don't think that little melody right there is good enough to be like A or S. You know, it's pretty good. I don't even think it's good enough to be B, honestly. They really made the music sound like an Amazon, like ancient. It's aggressive and powerful. I don't really know if it's feminine. You know, I feel like it could be a little bit more beautiful, but it's definitely got all the other attributes of Wonder Woman. I just wish they did a little bit more. Maybe, you know, Hans Zimmerman got so exhausted making Ideal of Hope. That's what we're going to do next. And that is for sure A, maybe even S. Where are you, Man of Steel? Yes, I'm going to drop an S right now just to fill out the categories. Woo. Let me hear that real quick. You're right. Come on, man. Who's getting fancy with the timpani? Actually, timpani, bass drum. Who knows what I'm hearing from those concert band pieces? Superman. I like this. I like Ideal of Hope the most personally. It might not be the most heroic sounding. It's a little bit more power centric. It sounds like just a powerful person, you know, doing impressive things. But it is so well made. It fits the Snyderverse perfectly, you know. It's not really like Christopher Reeve's, you know, Golden Age, you know. But man, if I heard that music, I'd be like, here comes a flying god of a man. Oh my gosh. Man of Steel. Enough said. You know what? I could talk about it all day. It's one of my favorites. An Ideal of Hope. Yes, Hans Zimmerman. Let's do another Hans Zimmerman. I think he did, what's it called? Amazing, almost said Amazon Spider-Man. Amazing Spider-Man. Is it this one or that one? This one right here, yeah. Amazing Spider-Man 2. A or B? What we gonna do? What's it looking like? How about B? How about A? How about B, but in front of the Hulk? Yeah, that'll be good. The other Spider-Mans are a little bit, well, Homecoming. We'll get to that. Amazon, let's see it. I keep saying Amazon, dang. This is Spider-Man of the Amazon. I'll put it in right now. Oh yeah. All right. Amazing Spider-Man 2. Also another Hans Zimmerman. You can tell from the little ululating synth he put in there, he really wanted that teenage sound, teenage aesthetic. Other than that, it kind of just sounds a little bit like regular superhero music, regular epic music. Like you'll even see in the sync briefs that they send out to independent music producers and stuff like that. It'll say epic sounding trailer music. That's what this would sound like to me. And I mentioned that with Doctor Strange, Green Lantern, stuff like that. If it doesn't sound like it could narrate or pertain to a specific character in the story or in the world that it's about, to me it's just like, hey, that sounds cool, but not quite tight enough. But it is really good. I think it's a lot. He's definitely got that teenage feel. It's recognizable for sure, and it's positive like right off the bat. So those are pretty good attributes for Spider-Man's character. Let's go ahead and do Homecoming, which I think is actually below. Yep, I'm gonna put it right there. It's above Hulk, below The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Let me get a snippet of that. Sounds like a bunch of bugs crawling all over the place. Oh man, Homecoming. I can't even really put it past Marvel. At this point, they were starting to lean towards mostly the artists pick songs in the soundtrack instead of like big, huge, composed, original film scores. That's fine. Maybe I'm just old. Maybe I'm just traditional. But, I think it definitely sounds like a bunch of little insect spiders crawling all over the place. Sounds good. Sounds like youthful. There's no hype climactic parts, no super heroic parts. It's kind of just, it's on theme. It's very on theme, but not really spectacular. No pun intended. All right. Let's do The Dark Knight, which actually isn't going to rank that high for me. Yep, I'm thinking about it right now because, it sounds like darkness. Sounds like Batman in this gritty tone. But that's it. It's really short. There's only one real recognizable part. Other than that, it sounds like action movie music. Actually, let's put that in... I'm putting C. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, let me go ahead and hear that. Dark Knight. It is pretty, the rising into that chord sounds pretty good. But good enough to compete? I don't think so. Where is it? Here it is. Pretty cool. It sounds like he's about to jump off the building with the cape. I don't really got too much to say. Just the whole dark tone of DC, pushes its own self away from the heroic aspect. I can get behind that. I like to see the fights especially, but the music, like I said, for this ranking specifically, I'm trying to go to what sounds the most heroic in the context, of the diegetic world that's set up. Because the Hulk is kind of an exception. Batman's kind of an exception. Like, Michael Keaton's Batman is still dark in the beginning, but it still has like heroic overtone, especially in the middle when the chords progress into major stuff. Dark Knight is just, he's about to shoot that grappling hook. All right. Let's do Black Panther. Oh, yeah. Honestly, okay, I got a lot to say about Black Panther. Like, Across the Spider-Verse, that's a whole nother thing too. Motion picture, but I tried to keep out movies that weren't really applicable to this specific contest, this tier, because most of those songs will beat out most of these, but they'll be artist songs, like album songs, not really film score songs. And even in Black Panther with the drums, you can recognize that just like that. So super iconic. I don't really think it's S because like I said, the songs on the album are way better. Okay, let's go ahead and hear it. Black Panther, a little snippet. Where are you? Right here. Yes, sir. I love that. I don't even know what drums those are. I could just be I could guess. I'm not gonna do it justice. Congas bongas. I don't know. Oh man. Black Panthers. I feel good about that. I feel really good. It's not really S, but it is super iconic. It's on theme, still heroic. It was a good idea to put the drums over top the stringed instruments. I'm sure any I'm sure any composer worth their salt would have made that choice, so, like me. Avengers is S for sure. In fact, I'm gonna put it above Ideal of Hope because it's so heroic sounding. Oh my god, the whole thing. Most of that theme is iconic. Most of it is recognizable. It fits for every single group, and it's a group theme. They just got too many points. Too many points across the board. Let me hear that really quickly. Avengers. Man, it's just hard. Ooh, it's tough. What else even needs to be said? The strings in the beginning. So a lot of composers actually use that as a cheap. I'm not gonna say cheap. I'm gonna say a means to emphasize. A means to emphasize. Let me get serious. A means to emphasize, like the main. What should I say? The main like melody or core part of what they're making. If that's like the only thing that's riding for it, you know, there's no icing on the cake. The cake is good, but there's no icing, and there's nothing really attracting you to that specific piece. This is done so well because it brings you in with that. Not to mention that's a little bit different because most just stay on the note or they'll go like a half step up, piano, or a semitone up, semitone down, or two, and come right back to that main little chord, root note, even though it's not the main chord. It was just different. It was a good choice. Good choice. Good musical decisions were made in this film score. All right, what we got? Iron Man is D. Oh my gosh, absolutely. Where are you, Iron Man? Here it is, and I'll tell you the reason. After we hear this rock and roll. Iron Man, I mean, like I said, I didn't say this, but Iron Man is kind of like the homecoming direction, more so tracks in the movie as opposed to film score, which is fine, you know, it lends itself more to that character. But it doesn't help you win this contest, all right? I like the guitar. Do I think the guitar is heroic? I think the guitar is explosive, like he about to drop some bombs on some people. That's all. I mean, it's cool. It's action-packed. I don't see him saving nobody. I don't hear him saving anybody. Not from that. Not from the clip, not from the whole thing. Let's talk about Christopher Reeves real quick. John Williams originally made, so I'm going to put the Christopher Reeves and the new Superman, I don't really know his name. I'm going to put them like side by side, maybe one movie apart, but they'll be close because it's only really a rendition of the original. The only reason I might put the new Superman higher is because it's slightly more different than the original with like some seventh chords that are like a little bit more soft. It's just a little bit different, and the original sounds really reminiscent of Star Wars. I swear, John Williams, when he was making it too, he was like, I got just a thing for that. If you could go back and listen, it's like that part right there, and then it goes into the soft melodic part. Now that is a trend amongst composers, and you know, even in history, that could be a thing that you research, a whole thing in and of itself. But like the melodic structure, those notes specifically, they just sound similar. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you go back and hear the Star Wars part of the two. How Star Wars go? And then there's the middle. That part right there. If you go back, compare them, you're gonna see what I'm saying. And if you don't, well, I'll pray for you. Aquaman is D, C, D, C, B, not B, C, D, C, D, high D. It sounds only slightly better than Doctor Strange. It sounds epic, it's cool, but it doesn't lock on to me. That's Aquaman. It doesn't even sound watery. Doesn't even sound like liquid. Doesn't even sound like he's standing next to this Ariel ripoff. Well, let me relax. Nah, I see Ariel ripoff. There's really not much else to be said. I mean, it's cool. It's epic sounding. Can't really compete with the rest of these. I don't even recognize it right now. All right. Since I did just talk about Christopher Reeves, I'd skip right over it. Let me go ahead and hear the Christopher Reeves. There's that Superman I know and love. There's that Superman sound I like to hear. All right, I'm gonna drop it in S. It does my heart a pain, but it is a little bit better than Ideal of Hope. And then I think I'll slide that right above. Man, the Superman. I guess the composer just knew, like, hey, if we're gonna do the most popular hero ever, we have got to be locked in. And that's exactly what they were, was locked in. Yeah, all the Supermans are in S. And I'm not even angry about it. Ant-Man, a solid B. Yes, under the Incredible Hulk. Under the Incredible Hulk. I'm sorry. Ant-Man. Oh my gosh. I mean, he was cool. He was cool. I mean, let's hear it. You know, because he was like a thief in the movie Scott Lang, I can see where they really went with this. It really sounds like Mission Impossible, sneaking around, and he's a little ant. It starts off soft, gets strong, you know, tension builds, stuff like that. But not really inspiring greatness. Not really heroic in that way. Let's do Spider-Man S, but where in S? This is Danny Elfman. Danny Elfman, baby! Where in S? Above Ideal of Hope. I will put it above Ideal of Hope. I think that's straight. S, Spider-Man, okay? This, let's go ahead and hear it. Where are you? Flip in. Spider-Man. Oh, yeah. When it goes to go, can't be beat. It really sounds like he's just, you know what I'm saying? Crawling up the wall, sticking all over the places, about to do a flip and swing from a web. What can I say about Spider-Man? What do I need to say about Spider-Man? The original Spider-Man. Absolutely. You know what? This is what I'll say. The only reason that this Spider-Man, this Spider-Verse isn't winning this whole tier list at the top of S is because I cannot add the black suit Spider-Man theme music. Now that right there, we're going to talk about another time. But whew, he was cooking. All right. But this one, yeah, I don't think it's better than all of these. I really don't think it's better than Avengers, but it is so recognizable. It's like I said, it's good throughout. For Avengers, the same. The rest of these are super iconic. Let's do X-Men. X-Men is going to be above Batman, Michael Keaton, Jack Nicholson, because it really could compete with the Avengers. It's just a little bit too edgy, but it is epic. It's really, really good. It's really good. It was just a little too. What was it? It's not really heroic. It's not really heroic. It's not particularly positive. It just sounds like they about to get down to business. And I can really hear that in the trumpets. I love that. And matter of fact, it sounds like the Black Suit Spider-Man little run. Just a little bit, not a bunch. But maybe that's why it's going so high. Yep. A is a good spot. And let's do Fantastic Four. Hold on. Fantastic Four 2005. We're not going to talk about that other one. But yeah, this music right here. Let me add that to the tier list. I see First Steps. I didn't see the original. This is going in high A. I think I'm going to slide it above Black Panther. I will. I think I like that spot. Let's go ahead and hear it, thing. Wherever it may be. Yeah. Fantastic Four. The original was better than First Steps, and I'm going to drop First Steps up here, too, real quick. And it's actually behind Black Panther, so that's straight. Where is First Steps? Let's select in the playlist. There it is. I love that. First Steps sounds a little bit more like the Jetsons or something like that. I am also missing another picture, but I'm gonna get to that in a second. It sounds like, you know, that little 50s thematic recreation of, you know, the future, but old school Fallout. Well, not really Fallout, but it's along that's the goal. That's not really the route they took, because Fallout kind of makes music sound old, like 50s-ish, even though they have futuristic technology. I just love that weird theme. It's like conflicting. But besides the point, First Steps, it sounds not quite heroic to me. It sounds like future music. Like, I could imagine this soundtrack or a film score on Meet the Robinsons. If there were no heroes, if they didn't say fantastic 4, I could definitely hear that in like a kid's movie like Meet the Robinsons. Maybe even Wall-E in like a little scene. Possibly Big Hero 6, although that is a hero movie. So now as I'm saying that, let me rethink this. Let me think about this. Nah, it's just a little bit too broad. It's like futurist. It's like machine creating. It's really reminiscent of Reed Richards himself. But it's, you know, it's still pretty dope. I like it. I do think the old one is a little bit better because it was more hero centered. It sounds more like a comic book, whereas the new one sounds more like a Doctor Who TV show. I don't know. Something like that. Actually, I do know. It does sound like that. And it's going at the bottom of A. And I am missing another picture. Guess what I forgot? The Flash movie. Where is the picture that I want? I'm just going to choose this picture right here, because I ain't got all day. Drop it in my handy dandy tier list right here. Let's download and let's go ahead and drop that in D. What in the world was this? Oh my gosh. All for the same reasons of Fantastic Four, First Steps, except it's all over the place. Now this is like Back to Future, Time Machine. I'm falling in a portal. Kryptonians flipping and dipping and jumping everywhere. Maybe that's even a mark on the movie. That's a whole other thing. But the music follows the plot, you know? The music follows the story that's been written. And I guess it just had to follow it into the trash can. No, it's staying at the bottom. Oh my gosh, it is all over the place. Let's hear it really quick. The runs. Let's go. The Run Flash. This is the main or the one I could find that was main? No, I can't do it. I'm sorry, y'all. What in the world? Nah. And only because the pieces of the musical score are scattered, like the movie. Like, it's really reminiscent of the movie, and they nailed that on the head, you know? The piece of the plot is like he's running, dealing with a bunch of different problems. They're scattered. It's ubiquitous. I can hear that. But that is not heroic. That does not remind me of The Flash. It sounds like somebody's running. But is the person running to save me? Hey, what's up, Pluto? I hope not. But no, I'm pretty happy with Avengers at the top. Spider-Man, I really wish it could have ranked higher, and Ideal of Hope. Superman, but that Avengers, whew. And I hope y'all don't think I'm biased. I mean, because it's not even the newest and it's not even the oldest. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't set it up like that on purpose. Because Superman is extremely iconic, but the Avengers is also very recognizable, but it's also really good. I mean, it's good throughout. The whole thing, it narrates the superhero story individually as well as together at the same time. It has those recognizable, iconic parts that you can immediately hear, and you're like, just be cognizant, oh, Avengers. And I love that. You need both parts. You need the music to tell the story of the heroes in the movie, you know. indicates those specific scenes, as well as you need like a theme song for when they show up. So it does both. It's excellent to me. I'll hit y'all later. I might do another one that's like Disney themed, Disney songs. Honorable mention, Transformers. Like I said, Daredevil show. I really feel like Transformers would have been really high on this list, but superhero category had to stay within the bounds. All right, y'all, I'm out.